I've been enjoying doing some time trials in the last couple of weeks. It's not something that I do consistently throughout the year, or at least up till this point I haven't. But it feels good to have a high level of fitness, and especially after these really hard time trials where you push yourself to the limit. You feel great afterwards, the rush of endorphins, and you just feel like all of the toxins have been released from your body. I like the 5K distance because it's a nice balance between speed and endurance, with 100 meters being the ultimate in speed and 100 kilometers being the ultimate in endurance. So you might be wondering why I entitled this video running a 5K time trial as a fatty. Well, back in the day when I was in peak shape, you might have remembered when I made that 24-hour time trial video. Back then I was weighing 66 kilos, and that's my true racing weight. That's where I perform the best as an endurance athlete. So at the moment, I'm definitely a fatty vegan patty, clocking in at 76 kilograms on the scales. Although I think what really happened is I just started getting more calcium from all of the greens that I've been eating, and I've become big boned. That and a calcified pineal gland. I mean, all of that calcium has to go somewhere. It can't just go down the toilet. In all seriousness though, in winter I don't sweat as much, so that's probably going to be about 2 kilos of water weight, considering I do eat a high salt diet, and binge eating has been my addiction for the last couple of years, and as a result I have gained weight from that. Let's just say I don't have a very good motive for being rail thin at this point in my life. So let's talk about the route a bit. This is an out and back route, 2.5 k's out, 2.5 k's back. And I measured it on Komoot so that I can get an accurate distance, because relying on the phone GPS data is not always going to be 100% accurate, and it shows because with the phone data today it measured at 4.96 kilometers, whereas if it's plotted on a map it's exactly 5 kilometers. The elevation gain for the route is 40 meters, so it's not the flattest route ever. So if I want pan flat, I just go to the track, but the track isn't open on a Saturday, so I just like hitting this route. So Saturday is International Parkrun Day, and you might be wondering, why don't I go do a parkrun on a Saturday instead? Well, the nearest parkrun is 200 k's from my house, so it's not exactly convenient. But it's fine for me. I've done so many years of solo efforts that it hardly makes a difference for me whether I'm alone or in a group anymore. Another thing to talk about is running form. You can see my running form isn't the best. I run with duck feet, but I've seen some athletes that can really kill it out there with duck feet, so I'm not too worried about it. I watched a race one time, half marathon. This woman ran a 106, and she has a really serious pronation. It's so visible, can't miss it. And even the commentators commented on her running style, that's messy. But even so, she still managed to fucking dominate. So it is possible to run fast even if your form isn't that great. That's my confirmation bias right there, guilty as charged. With regards to pacing strategy, I don't really have a strategy, I just go by feel. And it usually works out just fine going by feel. As long as I feel like giving up frequently, then I know I'm going hard enough. I prefer running time trials to cycling time trials these days because there's just less variables involved. With cycling, it's the weight of the bike, the mechanical efficiency, the aerodynamics, and with running, it's just much more pure. None of that shit matters. In other words, it's just easier to get an objective measurement of your performance. Now, of course, you can do that on a bike too with a power meter, but power meters cost a lot of money and their accuracy does vary quite a bit from power meter to power meter. Something that I think some of you might find interesting is how much weight affects your performance when it comes to running. For a 5K, every kilogram that you are heavier or lighter corresponds to a 13-second difference in time for the same effort. A good example would be when I ran my PR a few years ago of 16:55, and at that time I was weighing 70 kilos. So that would mean for me to run an equivalent effort at my current weight of 76, I'd need to run 18 minutes and 9 seconds. So it'll be quite interesting when you see the result that I got at the end of this video. Sorry, not an equivalent effort, because effort is going to be more if you're weighing more, but an equivalent performance. Now for a slight divergence of the topic. Something else that I noticed that is rather astounding is Beatrice Chebet. She's a female runner, and she smashed the 14-minute barrier for the 5K on the road. And that is incredibly fast. She ran a 13:54, crazy quick. I thought I'd just put that out there because it was quite recent and noteworthy. I used to think that the level of competition in cycling was hardcore, but running is just on a whole other fucking level. Imagine that a chick can run circles around you and you're in great shape as a guy. When I was in peak condition as a cyclist, I could definitely keep up with the world's best woman, but there's no way I can replicate that with running. And I'm perfectly fine with that because running for me is a personal journey of self-improvement. Or rather, these days, it's just to maintain a decent level of fitness so that I don't become a total shit cunt. When I first started running this route 4 weeks ago, I was actually lighter than I am now at 74 kilos, and I ran for the first time in my life. It was my slowest 5K ever. I ran 20 minutes and 8 seconds. So you'll see now at the end of the video how much I've improved in just 4 weeks. And this is not about bragging or being boastful. It's rather just to show you that with a minimal amount of training and a really hard effort once a week, you can make some considerable gains. I mean, I'm really training fuck all these days. 3 to 4 hours of endurance training every week. And now I'd like to invite my guest, Little Pauline, aka Sugar Maybelline.
Hi.
You sound aggressive there, eh?
I was the one who was filming here on my bicycle.
Yeah, thanks for that. And it was quite surprising how steady the footage was. I thought it was going to rattle a bit too much, but it came out quite nicely. What do you think?
Yeah, same, because the GoPro was on the rack at the back of the bicycle, so no dampening at all, right?
Yeah, none of that. So that's pretty cool.
Can you tell them what you had as a pre-workout thing?
A pre-workout thing? You mean a pre-workout meal?
I don't know, if it's a drink, it's not a meal.
Okay. You are a thing and food is food, okay? So for food that I had before the workout, it was a high protein, vegan protein powder. No, I'm just kidding. I had 200 grams of sugar and a cup of carrot juice, like I've shown you in the previous video on what I eat for €3 a day.
This morning you had carrot and fennel juice.
Oh yeah, there was the fennel. That's what helped me to set a PR today. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but I did set a PR today. This video is a bit boring, so we need your input to keep it entertaining. Go.
I can talk about cats. Did you pet the cats before running?
Of course. It's a ritual that I practice every time I go run, because if I don't do it, it's a bad omen for me and I just don't perform as well.
Okay, what are the names of the cats?
Prunelle and Plumette. So for those of you who don't know, plume is a feather in French, and we came up with this unique name Plumette for the cat. So it means like a little feather, right?
Yes.
So Plumette is not an actual word in French, but Pauline got a little bit creative and came up with that one. And now you're going to tell us about the other cutie, Prunelle.
Yes, prunelle is an actual word and it means wild plum.
And does she behave like a wild plum?
Yeah, she's a bit wild, but she's semi-tamed. Only with us. She fears any other humans. So at home we have Prunelle, Plumette, and we're called Paul and Pauline. It's the house of peas.
I never thought about it like that. But you definitely need to give people a little bit of context before you start talking about the house of peas, because they're going to think about something else that's not so pleasant.
What? Green peas? Green peas taste good? I like to have white rice with green peas and some Maggi sauce, for example. And oh yeah, you haven't told us about the rest of your eating day after the run. What did you eat and what are you going to eat tonight?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't stuck to my €3 a day. Lidl Vegan Week is to blame. I never take personal responsibility. If there's something tasty out there, I'm going to fall victim to it. That's just how it is.
He had a Lidl vegan pizza. It cost exactly €2.
There you go.
And did you have a post-run recovery shake?
Yes, I actually had a 5-liter recovery shake of air.
The buffoonery never ends with you, huh? And what is your dinner?
Dinner is nothing particularly interesting, but I'm going to be taking a pot au feu, which is a vegetable mix, and then I'm going to mix it into a soup.
Not exactly. We bought légumes for pot au feu, which means vegetables for some kind of beef dish, but we just get a set of vegetables and we're going to cook it and blend it as a soup.
Okay, Frenchie.
So that's leek, carrots, potato, onion and some kind of parsnip.
And then for dessert, the ingredients are you, me, and a kapok.
And I think you will have some rice after that soup because
Yeah, it's not going to be enough calories, clearly. A vegetable mix like that is, 200 calories for each of us? It's just not going to cut it. I mean, I've got weight to maintain here. And that's it from Wife for now. So thanks for your input there. You might have noticed that I hit the halfway mark at around 9:45. So if you double that, the time comes out to 19:30. So it's always a good sign when I hit the halfway mark in 10 minutes or less, because I know the way back is going to be quicker than the way there, at least by 40 seconds or so. Well, that's it for now. I can't really think about much else to talk about, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. And for the rest of this video, I'm just going to play some lacquer music to keep the vibe going, and you'll see the results in the last 10 seconds of the video. So if you want to see the results, you know what to do. Ciao for now.
Faded gravity, melting away. Dissolve and weightless. Faded into darkness.